Hey everyone, Courtney here, your Plaid Clad Librarian in the Craft Cave, and today we are making puppets. String puppets, like marionette puppets, those kind. It's a little tricky to do, but honestly, it's not that bad. It does take a little bit of patience, and you're gonna have to work with it, and this is one of those times where if you mess up a bit and you get frustrated, take a breath, try again. It's totally okay. Do what you need to do to work through the problem and figure out the solution and make something awesome. Okay, let's get to it. Okay, these are the things that you're going to need in order to make your string puppet, for at least this way of doing it. They're not that hard to get a hold of, so you should be able to come up with something that works well for you. First off, pipe cleaners or chenille stems. I don't know why they're called that. I always called them pipe cleaners. So those. You're going to need some straws, or if you don't have straws, you can actually use like pasta, like penne or muscoli. You can use those, color them up, do cool things. You'll see how that works. Some beads. I have some bigger ones here and some smaller ones, and some scissors, something to draw with if you want. I just have a pencil, you can do whatever. And some string, because, string puppets. Okay, here we go. First off, the straws. You notice? I have one over here. I have a reason. We'll get to it at the end. We're going to cut up these straws into 4 segments each. So you want them to be fairly even. It's okay if they're not exactly perfect. I guess I'm just eyeballing this. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to try and put these straws in order of length. I want to find some that are the same length because they're going to be paired up to make arms and legs. And you kind of don't want one arm really long and one arm really short. It looks better if they match up. So I'm just going to quickly sort these. With that done, we're going to make the arms and the legs first of our puppet. They're just the easiest thing to do and have it done straight away. You only need about 2 pipe cleaners. One for the arms and one for the legs, and I think the purple ones go well with the blue, so I'm going to do that. First off, we are going to take a pipe cleaner and we're going to fold it in half. Let's say that this is the arms. So the peak of the pipe cleaner, when we fold it in half, is going to be the neck of our puppet, and these are the arms. And I want to have 2 arms that are around about the same length. So I'm going to take these 2. They're pretty close in length. And I'm going to put one on each side of our pipe cleaner. So that would be the upper arm of the puppet. Now we have an elbow so that it bends somewhere. And the way we're going to signify that on our puppet is we're going to take one of these little beads that we have, and we're going to thread it onto the pipe cleaner right at the end of the straw. So you don't want it to be going all the way in, you just want it at the end of the straw there. And we'll do that on both sides. Now we need the forearm of the puppet. So I'm going to take 2 more straws that are about the same length. This one doesn't really match up perfectly, so I'm just going to save that one on the side. And I'll take these and put that on the end of each. And you want it to be pushed up pretty far. There you go. So you can see how the bead's a little bit on the end there. It's right in between the 2 straws, and it's pretty close to the top of the bend. Now on the ends here, these are going to be our hands. So I'm actually going to bend them and do a little loop, and it would be like their hand, just like that. See? And I'll do this on this side. This helps make sure that the straw doesn't actually fall off, but it also gives a little bit of character to it as well. All right, so you can bend this however you like. So these are going to be the arms. They're pretty long arms, but that's okay. It's a puppet, who cares? So I'll have that up here. And now we're going to do the legs in the exact same way. You're going to take the 2 straws on top to be your thighs. Then you're going to do a bead in the middle for the knees. And then another 2 for the shins. So just bend that pipe cleaner in half and thread them through just like the other one. Don't forget to give him feet. There you go. There's his feet. Okay, moving on. So there we have our arms and our legs. These other pieces are going to be the body parts, the middle section, the torso. So here's his hips, here's his neck, and now we're going to make a spine. You have straws left over to do that with. You can select however many you like. I think I might go with 2 here, maybe one of the longer ones. Yeah, I think I'll do that. And get rid of that. And then this big bead over here, that's going to be our dude's head, and that's going to go right there. Okay, so we have the pieces, but how are we going to get it all connected together? Maybe if we use string. And we are. That's exactly what we're doing. We're using string. We are going to work our way from the top down. So we're going to start with the head. And what we'll do first is take your string, whatever you use, and you're going to fold it in half till you have just this little loop on top. We're going to tie a knot. So just wrap it around your fingers. Just like that, cross over, and then you're going to pull the loop in through the hole there of the string. There you go. And just tie it tight. Now, if the knot that your string makes is too small so that the hole in the bead just flips right through it, tie another knot right around it. It'll make it thicker. All right, so this is the top of our puppet. We are now going to string the bead underneath this knot. So go to the bottom of your string and thread it on through. This is a part that can take a lot of patience. So have that patience. And it's okay. If it's frustrating, just work your way through it. I'm sure you can figure out a solution. And now we have his head right there on the top. We're going to take his arms and we're going to tie it right underneath his head, right there. Now that we have his head and his arms, we're going to thread in his body parts. So right at the bottom of the string, you're going to work the string through the straw or the pasta if that's what you're doing. And thread it all the way up. And I have 2 body parts. You might have more than that. Who knows? It's up to you. All right, there's our second one. And now we're going to attach his legs. And you're going to tie it on just like you did with the shoulders. You may not want to tie the legs on very, very tightly. If you tighten it up very much, he's going to get really bent up, maybe get some scoliosis. Nothing wrong with that, but it'll make it kind of hard for our guy to move. So if you want, just have the string be a little bit loose when you tie your knot. All right, last thing, we're just going to cut off the extra string. Don't need that anymore, but we might be able to use this string, so that's nice. And here's our little man. And I left him pretty loosey-goosey, so he's going to be very wibbly, which works out very nicely because dude's a dancer. And we're going to let him jive. Now, you can stop right here if you want to. You have a little man with a string on top, and you can just thread your finger through and make him go as it is. Or, if you want to make it more as a marionette, you can take a stick. I don't have one, but I have an extra straw. Da 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 da. So how we're going to do this is we're going to take some string and we're going to tie one hand to the straw. We're going to tie the other hand to the straw, and then we're going to take a third string and tie the head to the straw. When you do this, you're going to want to try and keep it as even as possible. So just take the time to do it. It might take a few tries, and that is okay. So I'm going to tie up his hands and his head to my straw here, and we'll see how it looks at the end. All right, I have him strung up incorrectly because I want to show you what happens if your lines are not completely level. All right, see how his arms are way back, but his head is way forward? That's because either I have my arm strings too short or my head string too long. this is the extra ends of my arm strings. And seeing as how those are pretty short, whereas my head string is still really long, I'm gonna fix the head string so that he stands up properly. Now that is much better. See how he's standing up straight now? That's exactly what we want out of our guy. And what you can do is you can hold it up here and you can move him around by tilting your stick. So, for instance, you can make him jiggle, you can make him bounce, and you can swing him around and do all you want with him. This is the perfect opportunity to decorate your puppet however you like. This is simply the puppet's skeleton, his inner bones, and you can do whatever you like to decorate him. For instance, I have a pencil and maybe I'm gonna draw a face on this bead right here. Perhaps I can take some construction paper and make him some clothes, some hair, maybe a hat to cover this up. I don't know. Let's see what happens. You will never believe it, everyone. Turns out that my guy loves dresses. And how am I going to deny him the wonderful pleasure of such a thing? I made him a dress out of some tissue paper and some tape and gave him some wicked cool hair out of some yarn, and now he can dance however he so pleases, as long as he likes, with his pretty dress, with his little footsies hanging out on the bottom part, like a bell, because it's funny, why not? And yeah, this is what I made. And that's how you make a string puppet or marionette in a fun, quick little way using just straws or pipe cleaners. You can, instead of straws, use the pasta, and that can give it a completely different look. As I said, I just used tissue paper that was left over from like my niece's birthday. I am very curious to see how your puppets turned out. Did you decorate them? Did you just have a little skeleton man or person or lady folk who is just dancing around your house right now, having a grand old time, or did you dress them up and make them all fancy? Or anything else? I'm very curious to know, so please take pictures, send them to us. We would love to be able to see them. You can send them to our social medias, or you can send it to Teen Services at the address below. So everyone have a wonderful time, enjoy making your puppets, and see you next time. Bye!